Hello and blessed be. Today is January 9th, 2026. I am hailing out of Lynchburg, Virginia area, Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to Astro Psych. Happy to have you here with me today. What I'm going to share about for just a few moments is the sky that's occurring as of this morning with a Capricorn Cancer opposition. And we have the Sun in Capricorn at 19 degrees. Mercury in Capricorn at 12, Venus in Capricorn at 20, Mars in Capricorn at 19, and Jupiter directly opposite in retrograde in Cancer at 20 degrees. And the reason I'm sharing this today specifically is when I show you my chart and my transit chart against this chart in the sky, you will see that there is a direct connection hitting very specifically to my Cancer stellium, which is in the 9th house. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay, so as you can see, my chart is that inner chart, and this is using the porphyry system, not the whole house system today. It doesn't really matter at all, is in Cancer there, opposite this Capricorn conjunction. So as you can see, when you line it up against my chart, it looks a bit different, obviously, than the big sky, but you can see that Capricorn stellium down there on the bottom of the chart by my south node in Capricorn. It is absolutely being spoken to and highlighted against Mercury, Mars, the Sun, and Venus. And of course, that south node that I have in the 3rd house of short distance travels, lower communication, it's ruled by Mercury, the logical mind, house of the twins with Saturn there would keep me focused on communication. And with that being my south node, ruled by Capricorn, Saturn is its lord, we would have to take a real hard look at where Saturn is and what's switching and what's changing this lifetime. And really quickly, if we do that, we can see Saturn is sitting in my 4th house in Aquarius, which is considered domicile position for Saturn as it rules Capricorn and Aquarius. So it does well here inside of its own sign. It has strength and dignity. And that would mean that there is a coming away from the way I used to do that information, a shift and a change, an evolutionary process of the way I do my Saturn in Aquarius. So then we need to, of course, bring in, even though Saturn in Aquarius is in my 4th house of home, Saturn in Aquarius rules the 11th house of larger groups and friends, larger networks, and of course my legacy. So the legacy that I left my last time here is meant to be switched up and changed. And that's just an initiatory introduction into that. But whenever anything's hitting that south node in my chart, it's really important to understand. And of course, we're just coming out of this Venus Sun, Venus star point in Capricorn shift, where it was in Cassimi position. That's when Venus is conjunct the Sun. And we have a whole new shift in a change in our direction of the way we do our Venus. Now you can see it's in a cardinal sign, and I am up there in the 9th, a cardinal sign as well. And I have found, and I'd love to know if any of our astrologers or any other people listening to this work in those realms and your cardinal, if perhaps you don't find these events sometimes occurring sooner than later, like you start moving out in the energies as if this has already happened And then lo and behold, you're moving forward in that energy already, and then you see it happened. That's something that can occur with cardinal signs, because as a cardinal sign, you're very initiatory and very active. It rules the angle houses, the cardinal signs of 1, 4, 7, and 10. These are the very active points on the chart. So cardinal signs move forward. And my sun is in a Keaton house, which is a house that is falling away and moving towards a new cycle, starting again with cardinal, then fixed, then cadent, then cardinal, then fixed, then cadent. And so the modalities of these houses and the way that these houses move are important to understand. But as you can see, I have a direct opposition with all those planets at Capricorn opposite my Cancer stellium. So what does that mean for me today with Jupiter in retrograde? Jupiter rules the ninth house, so it does very well in the ninth house, and it's exalted in Cancer. So this is a very, very good position for my stellium to be experiencing the bountiful energy the past year, since last June, of Cancer and Jupiter. So today I received this morning a message of approval and final diploma degree acceptance, where it's going to be mailed out to me. Just got notice of this. And of course, that ball's been in the air for a while. I submitted my dissertation in October and heard the results at the very beginning part of this year that it was accepted and that I could apply for my diploma, which I did. And now today I received news that it's coming in the mail. You can see Mercury is at hitting my sun, my North Node, my Venus, my Moon, and of course that Jupiter transit. It's all communicating back over there a message to my ninth house sun. Now, the ninth house rules higher education. It rules long distance travel. This message came from another state. The admin doesn't live where I live. My schooling was online. So long distance, heard from her a very beneficial message related directly to how my sun, Venus star point I just experienced. We all experienced it, but it was very personal for Capricorn and Cancer. And you might have been shifting and the last couple months preparing and moving things and setting the stage for this time. So you should be, as well as I am, as Jupiter is in all of the Cancer sun star signs, helping us out here, the moons, the ascendants. And let me know if you received any news today. And, sometimes we're afraid of those oppositions. They are in the dynamic aspect and nature of Saturn. And there's a lot of contrast here, and there can be stress, and it's like something trying to get your attention. So it's very apropos that I would be hearing news about something that I've kept in a structure for 5.5 years to complete because of COVID and other things. It was delayed. But it's something that I really put my heart into and disciplined myself through a lot of challenges, truly, and got it completed and done. And it's like Saturn is rewarding me through Capricorn and through these positions. There are some other things going on here in the chart with the sextiles, which you can see back in this chart, that are just showing harmonious communication and working together with me for such a time as this. So this is how these transits can show up in the sky. And I just wanted you to see a personal example, starting with me, and really accomplish something that has meant a great deal to me. So I'm glad to be finished with this chapter and just moving forward in this year and really opening up my calendar to serve you, to serve the greater collective, and holistic and natural ways of healing. I was born, as you could see, with Pluto and Uranus in Virgo. The Virgo represents that sixth house of healing, sixth house of health. And any of my tribe born with me with the conjunction that came together and then separated in Virgo starting in 1956 to 1972, it ended. If you're born in that era, you are part of my tribe, and I welcome you and would love to hear from you. And, what's happening in your life with these healing modalities as Virgo is really taking her energy and bringing it out into the forefront and is saying, hey, here's a new way to heal. We're not dismissing Western medicine. We're not saying it doesn't work. We're not bad mouthing our professionals and colleagues. But what we are saying is we're here. Dane Rudar was a philosopher, an astrologer, and really a pioneer of humanistic and transpersonal astrology. And his works are widely known to offer a lot of psychological and spiritual dimensions to astrology, to modern astrology. So he's recognized not just as an astrologer, but also as a thinker, a writer, and a cultural philosopher. And I bring him in because he had quite a lot to say about the 1956 to 1972 transit of Uranus and Pluto. So, in closing, I just want to share a little bit about his thoughts and what he had to say about Uranus and Pluto conjunction in Virgo, which again happened roughly between 1956 and 1972, where they came together and then they separated. And this period really marks the birth of a generation that's now in their mature adult phase. So that's me. I am 62. I don't know what your experience has been like. Anyone in this generation wants to chime in. Again, would love to hear what you have to say and how you're navigating if you're in the health and healing fields. And this can be Western or Eastern. So Virgo, remember, is connected to themes of service, health, healing, daily routines, the practical things we do every day with our hands and work. With Uranus, the planet of innovation and disruption, and Pluto, the planet of transformation and deep evolution. Both in Virgo, this generation carries a powerful and potential radical energy to transform fields connected to health, healing, and work structures. So his thoughts were that these individuals would usher in innovative approaches to medicine, holistic health, nutrition, and even mental and emotional well-being. And they often push for reforms in the workplace, favoring more efficient, healthier, and more mindful systems. So today, while we're in our mature years, I have seen many take a step forward into leadership roles in healthcare reform and alternative healing modalities for sure, and just bringing forward into society and collective consciousness a more integrative approach to wellness. And there's a lot of people we could name that really fit this whole scenario. Put their name down in the comments if people that you know. I think of Jordan Peterson. I don't necessarily agree with everything that he has to say, but he has opened a lot of doors for people to look at mental health in a different way. So the influences and the changes that we're seeing these individuals bring forth are challenging a lot of the traditional systems. And they're not necessarily easily moved, these traditional systems. And the challenge is, what should stay and what should go. And all of that just has a way of working itself out. But these mind body connections and alternative therapies are really stepping forward. It's an exciting time to be alive, and it's a privilege to, number one, just for me to be healed and in my right mind. And it's just good to be where I am. And I'm very grateful for all of the mentors, my masters and teachers that have gone before me, and grateful for my ancestors who I know were in the healing arts. Some of them I'm beginning to find these things out as I now look back, really for the first time deeply, into my ancestry. And so it's just exciting, and would love to hear from you again. Comment below, and if you found value and you find value, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm trying to make a change on the best way I know how, which is just to share my journey authentically and to be real and helpful and of service to the world. So blessed be.